No Strings with Mike Damon.
Hi, welcome again to No Strings. I am Mike Damon. Just in case if you're joining me for the first time and you're wondering what this is about, well, you're on to No Strings, and No Strings is Nigeria's first LGBT podcast. I want to say welcome again to No Strings. For this week, we're going to talk to someone who happens to be Olumide Makanjuola. He is currently the Executive Director of TS Nigeria, which, when pronounced in full, is the Initiative for Equal Rights. Well, before we finally start talking with him, I'm going to take a quick time out and then finally come back, and then we continue with the discourse for this week. Please don't go anywhere, just stick around. I'm going to be right back just right after this.
Truth be told, with no strings attached, listen to the actual voices of members of the Nigerian LGBT community, only on No Strings with Mike Damon. Visit www.nostringspodcast.wordpress.com. You're listening to No Strings.
Hi, welcome back to No Strings, Nigeria's first LGBT podcast, and I am Mike Damon. Now, before we went on the recess, I said that we were going to talk to Olumide Makanjuola, who is the Executive Director of TS Nigeria. Of course, let's do the welcome thing for Olumide. Olumide, you're welcome to No Strings. You're really welcome to No Strings. It's my pleasure and honor to have you. You know, I was thrilled when BCLME mentioned you on the forum, and then your picture came up, and I was like, I really need to get in touch. I'm so grateful you agreed to do this with me, and especially more thanks goes for the fact that you took in all my troubles. How are you doing? It's so nice to have you, Olumide. Welcome. Also, I'm sure my listeners would like to meet you now. Please take out the time to tell us a little about you.
Thank you for having me, Mike. My name is Olumide Makanjuola, and I work with the Initiative for Equal Rights. I have been working with TF for almost 8 years from different positions. I used to be a capacity building officer, then I moved to a director of program, and then now the executive director. I've worked as the ED for over 2 years now.
Wow, now that's a mouthful. Your organization, what do you people actually do?
Well, TEC, basically has been in existence for almost 10 years. We're going to be 10 years this year officially. It was founded in 2005, by a group of friends. And, at the time that we founded the organization, it was to respond to the discrimination and stigmatization in HIV prevention service, for MSMs at that point.
Okay.
But, it has grown to become one of the many organizations in Nigeria that now comprehensively provide service for LGBT people, and then, provide from legal aid to HIV prevention service, to psychosocial support, capacity building, paralegal service, to ensure a few. So that's one of the things, those are the things that we've been doing in the last couple of years, and most time, our engagement is guided by the different kind of priority, area that we identify, based on the need of the community.
Okay. Nice. That's a whole lot already. So what new things should people be expecting from your organization, and what are its expected impact and targets? Please tell us.
Well, in terms of what new thing people should expect from TIER, we'll come up with different things every now and then, but one of the latest things that I think we're currently working on now is on the 17th of May, we will be launching, a website called www.whereloveisAcrime.org.
Wow.
It's a resource website. It's a micro website that has everything and everything you need to know about, LGBT, from the different kind of laws, in Nigeria, beyond the same-sex,
really?
Marriage prohibition law, the different kind of laws that also kind of criminalize same-sex relationship, the different issues, people sharing their opinion, people telling their stories, analysis of the law, commentary.
Really going to be interesting.
It's a full package on the website. We personally feel excited to be launching this website. It's been one of the things that we've been in the pilot in the last 6 to 7 months. Also, come 17, we'll be launching a toll-free line that, people can call from any part of Nigeria for free. The line is going to be available.
Interesting.
From, for 24 hours, but the toll-free line will only be available for a certain period of time during the day, while the non-toll-free line will be available for 24 hours. But the good thing with also the non-toll-free line is that people can also still call, and then they'll have, people respond to them. And where they don't have enough credit to call, they can actually, flash or beep us, whichever one they find convenient in terms of the language.
Nice.
Flash or beep us, and then we'll return back their call. Or they can also send the text message to us and we'll reply. All those numbers are is going to also be available on WhatsApp. We have a BlackBerry Messenger that people can also add us on BlackBerry, where they can also engage with us to find out, what we do, what kind of service they probably would need, different kind of question that they might require, about the organization. So those are the two things we're launching on the 17th. But apart from that, as an organization, we always try to be innovative, innovative in everything that we do. We try as much as possible to make sure that we are consistent in the things that we do.
Wow, you people seem to have a whole lot of interesting things going on. Really interesting. I personally can't wait for it. Now let's move our attention a little bit to you. So tell me, what is your role in the fight for LGBT rights in Nigeria, saying that your organization seems to have a lot to do with LGBT activities already?
Well, my role is not actually very individualized. I think I work in a kind of setting. I work with an organization. But I, for me personally, I can say that, it's, my drive has probably been one of the things that actually led me to end up in this career. Because I mean, coming from somebody who already know what it means to be discriminated, and somebody who understood, already what it means to be gay in this country, I don't think there was anything particularly new, for me anymore. And I felt that there was some kind of responsibility already, on me, as a person who could probably serve as a voice for the people that couldn't or didn't have their own voice already. So my involvement has always been push out the initiative, work with the team, let's get to see how we can support, let's get to see what we can do that can make life easier for people to be who they are within this country, to be who they want to be within this country. As long as who they are and who they want to be does not in any way violate other people's rights, or does in any way, create problem for the people in terms of under the principle of human rights. That's the most important thing for me, and I think that's one of the things that we've done collectively at the Initiative for Equal Rights.
Okay. Wow, so much energy coming from you there, Olumide. Of course, good things are happening. We should really be hopeful. Now, so Olumide, what impact has your personal efforts generated, and how can you measure it? Please tell us.
I'm not sure if there's a way I can personally measure my personal, effort.
Okay.
But I can say that my effort as an individual has kind of also contributed into what he has become today. And what he has become today is a collective effort. So different people have been part of TIE, many people have been at TIE, some have left, some are still there. Okay. It's a collective effort. Individual efforts sometimes is not something you can always measure all the time. But one of the things I can certainly say is that my consistency in the movement and, my clamor for what I believe in, which is one of the few, which is, building a structure, a structure that can respond to the need of the community, of the whole movement. It's one of the things I personally have been invested in the last couple of years, and I think that, that has been one of the major efforts within the within the movement. And we can see this, how this has transpired into the collective effort you see at TIE and what it has become today as an organization.
Okay, brilliant. Your involvement with the LGBT community in Nigeria, how has it affected you personally? Ian, do you have any regrets so far? Please tell us.
I don't have any regret being part of the movement. I don't think I've ever had any regret. I've never even had any regret. I mean, I think it's even good that you're mentioning even regret now, because funny thing, I've never even thought of regret. Because I've enjoyed to do what I have done, I've always enjoyed to do what I do, and for the things that I've done in the past, I've actually enjoyed doing them. I've enjoyed all that I have done in the past, and I think I still enjoy doing more, and I look forward into doing more. In terms of how it has affected me personally, to be honest, it's no sense of arrogancy, but I really can't pinpoint to how it has, because I've always been a people's person, and one of the things I've done is to separate my life away from the things I do. my profession is my profession, and me as a person is, my personality has always been different from, what I do at here. People who have been my friend for many decades understood my personality, and they don't try to misconstrue that for, my position at here. So it has never had any backlash. I mean, I'm seen at some public events, I engage publicly on different issues, LGBT, all general issues. So I've never really had any personal, regrets having been involved in the movement. Of course, there are one of few things that you always think sometimes, one of few things here and there where people you insult you on social media,
true.
or insult you or comment on, if it is on the blog, or you make the news and then people read the news and they can probably insult you through comments on the website and things like that. But these are regular things that happen to everyday people, so it's not particularly to people who work in the LGBT movement. We see people insult people on Twitter every day. We see people insult people on Ellen Nikeji's blog every day, on Bella Nanja's blog every day. So it's not a big deal. So I can't take that as something that is extremely personal. That doesn't mean to say that it is actually right for people to do so, but just to say that it's not peculiar to me or to the work that I do. It's just peculiar to people, and people just reacting to what they probably don't know or what they don't understand.
Yeah, that really true, really true. Now, it is no news that Nigeria is one of the most homophobic African countries, especially since the signing of the anti-LGBT bill into law. So what else do you think is generating the harsh homophobic condition in Nigeria? Please tell us.
I think different things kind of generate a harsh homophobic law in Nigeria. We can say, first of all, lack of understanding, lack of knowledge of the issue.
Yeah, true.
And then most especially the religious, sentimental, of religious leaders towards the issue of, LGBT. And I think that also, if the lack of understanding in the regards of thinking LGBT is not part of the broader human rights, issue. Also, one of the things is existing laws that has always been there before the same-sex marriage also has a way that it has translated into the new condition that we begin to see within the LGBT, towards LGBT people in Nigeria. Many things we can say to this. Like I said before, religious culture, lack of understanding from religious leader, lack of understanding from political leader, and then, lack of proper understanding of what human rights is also. Because you will expect that when people understand the issue of human rights comprehensively, they wouldn't understand what it means, why it is important to protect and promote LGBT rights. But unfortunately, even generally, beyond LGBT rights, our understanding on the issue of human rights is still really kind of, poor. From the issue of gender to sexuality, it's still poor.
True.
So when you put all of this together, you can understand how and why we've resulted to become, one of the homophobic countries in the continent. It's not like we're different from that other country. Every other part of the world that has grown from where they used to be to where they are now. It has been the fact that they've been able to separate and then adjust, from their religious belief to their cultural belief, and then not kind of letting that infringe on the broader human rights, discourse. But unfortunately for us in Nigeria, there is no how we can talk about human brother discourse. Even people who do human right work in Nigeria will still have to, there's still kind of one way or the other tied to their religious sentiment and their cultural belief. So that can always explain to you how we got to where we are today, as a country, and as a nation within the continent.
Yeah, very true, Olumide. Very, very true. Now, what do you think can be done at least to reduce, if not completely eradicate, the hate for the LGBT community in Nigeria? Please tell us.
I don't think that you will ever 100% eradicate hate in Nigeria towards LGBT people. Even globally, LGBT is still a global discourse. Countries like the US, like the UK, that are quite progressive, still have issue of hate. So issue of hate is not restricted to only Nigeria. However, we can minimize it, through education, public awareness, public engagement, let people understand what it means. Always highlight the impact of it on people and how this can even brother generate into something that will go beyond the society, beyond the community itself. Lots of people always think that, when you hate on LGBT people, you're only hating on LGBT people. But the reality is the fact that a hate that starts from one person can actually generate to beyond that particular community into a broader issue. So it's for us to start understanding first as human that every human has their whole right to be who they want to be. If we understand, and that is not only restricted to LGBT rights, but as human, first of all, Nigerians must understand that every Nigerians have the right to be who they want to be.